But Alaska has like 69 one way.
Nice.
Welcome to another episode of Let's Rewatch, the show where we watch movies we loved in our youth and see if they're actually still any good. I'm Nick.
I'm Bret.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Ash, but who's that on the couch? Patrick, why are you still here?
Hey guys, what's going on? Just figured I'd take a little nap. What day is it?
Have you been here the whole time?
I guess so.
There's Taco Bell wrappers everywhere.
Oh man.
My God.
Dude, we thought you smelled bad before.
Oh. You're going to give me a complex.
Well, I guess we'll roll with it. I guess you want to watch a movie?
Sure.
All right. So I think we have kind of a different thing going on here than what we usually do. Usually, I will do some research about the movie that we're about to watch, but the suggestion was thrown out for us to watch Heavyweights. I have literally never even heard the title of this movie.
I'm so excited!
Oh my God.
It's one of the great pleasures of life when I can watch a movie that I've never heard of and don't know anything about.
How is that possible?
Now I am extra excited for Patrick to be here because Patrick knows a lot about this movie.
Okay.
So he could fill in for you.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is a good idea. Like, we shouldn't not talk about the movie. But I also didn't want to do a lot of research because it would be nice to go in fairly cold.
How cold? Like, do you know the premise?
No, I don't know what Heavyweights is.
This could be a wrestling movie in your head right now.
Bonkers.
Well, that's the only reference to heavyweight I know is in like boxing or wrestling or something like that.
Boy.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yes.
So the name Tony Perkis means nothing to you.
Well, I know Anthony Perkins.
No, Tony Perkis.
I got you, but I don't know who that is.
Oh, you will.
So how much should we say?
I don't know. I kind of like this. Nick not knowing.
I think, who's in the movie?
Do you know,
There's
Nick?
a couple of who's in the movie that you can talk about without really blowing what it's about.
Yeah, and that's all like untouched territory. Like I have literally never heard the title of this movie. I don't know what it is.
I mean, there's a lot of people that have small roles too that you're going to be like, oh, they're in it, and then they're going to disappear, and you're like, well, where'd that really big star go?
Oh, wow.
Everybody does their best Nick impression and talk about all the minor characters like they're the major characters.
Is that what I do?
There's a few movies where I've been like, who are these names he's talking about?
All right, so who are these names you want to talk about?
Jeffrey Tambor.
Oh, excellent.
But like I said, you're like, oh, he's in this. It's like, oh no, bye. See ya.
Okay. Although it's funny, I don't know where the world stands on Jeffrey Tambor at this point.
Yeah.
Did he get some accusations of some creepy stuff?
He's just a jerk.
Well, did he get fired from Transparent because of it?
Oh, yeah. He's the Arrested
Which is
Development guy.
tough because I don't see how you do that show without him.
I don't know that they're still doing the show.
I don't know.
They might not be. Did you know that Judd Apatow is in this movie and that he wrote this movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
It's an Apatow jam.
Okay.
I did not know that.
Wow.
But it makes
It
sense.
is directed by Stephen Brill. I don't know if you're familiar with him,
No.
but he's known for Little Nicky, Mr. Deeds, Sex Lies and Videotape.
He's an Adam Sandler guy.
Yeah, sounds like it.
But
Wait, he didn't. What about Sex Lies and Videotape?
It looks like he was an actor in it.
Because that was Soderbergh.
Yeah, he didn't direct that one.
Okay.
So maybe it looks like, he directed Little Nicky and Mr. Deeds. Oh, he directed Without a Paddle, everyone's favorite movie with the...
No thanks.
Seth Green.
Is that the Dax Shepard vehicle?
Yes, which we should totally watch.
Wow.
It looks like, what else did he direct? Nothing else amazing. So, yeah.
I remember I went to a movie theater one time, and this was years ago. I think it was Little Nicky. and it was Little Nicky and Charlie's Angels were playing. And so we just went up to the window and we said, give us Little Nicky or Charlie's Angels. And, just tell us which theater to go to. So we didn't look at our tickets. We just went into the room and watched whatever played. And unfortunately,
it took you an hour.
Little Nicky.
It took you an hour before you realized which one you were watching.
Oh no!
Oh no, it was pretty clear, and it was the bad choice because I saw Charlie's Angels later, and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm. That would be a fun one to do.
There are no less than three shared actors in this movie from the Mighty Ducks franchise.
Oh,
interesting.
I didn't know that.
So an Emilio Estevez, perhaps?
No, we'll say of the kids.
Oh, the kids.
Oh, Nick.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know about kids. Shut up, Patrick.
Oh, that's right. Because I forgot. Because the whole.
I'm familiar with the concept of children.
There's also just because I'm sure all the listeners at home are like screaming. There's obviously a really big star in this movie that I think we should keep secret.
I kinda like
I'm
that.
surprised that Nick doesn't know about this movie because of.
Yes. So I feel like
It's a weird sentence structure.
it's more fun to keep that one secret. So let's not spoil that one. But
Okay.
Patrick, do continue. If there's more people.
There's going to be a lot of people you recognize. I feel like their faces, if you don't know their names. Paul Feig, or is it Feig or Feig?
Yeah.
He's in this.
But he's another director, not so much.
No, but he's like he plays a fairly major role.
I don't think I even know what he looks like.
This was the movie
Like a
that made
goofy
all of the
dude.
directors good acting.
Okay.
Yeah, who else?
Well, there's another one that you'll recognize, but I feel like saying that actor's name will spoil the one that we're not trying to spoil.
I see.
Yeah, playing a weird game here. It's also going to be weird when I pull it up on the old Apple TV and like.
There's going to be like the factoids or stuff in the margins.
Can you just-
I mean, there's
Can you just shout
actors'
at your
names
Apple
and there's
TV?
poster and.
Just
Yeah,
be
it
like,
depends on what poster you're gonna get because it might just spoil the big person. But
Yeah.
I feel like we're also building this movie up a lot, guys.
yeah,
Well, I don't know. I don't know that
I
you
disagree. I think it's fair. This movie is phenomenal. So
Yeah.
are. Okay, so first, who decided to watch this? Who wanted to
that
do
was
this?
me actually
Okay.
because inspired by Patrick. Because on the Let's Rewatch Facebook page, I don't even remember how this came up, Patrick. But you said, "Wouldn't it be funny to do a fake trailer for Heavyweights 2?" And I was like, "That's hilarious. Let's do it." and
So
we're
keep an
doing
eye
it.
out for that.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I hope it comes to fruition. I think we've had some back and forth, and we talked about it last time, and before I fell asleep on your couch here, and then once in a while I've been working on it. When I go to the bathroom, but this my sister and I were talking. I honestly am forgetting now how the whole thing has started, and then my sister and I are super fans of this. It's on our Mount Rushmore movies, probably we watched over and over as kids, and somehow we were talking about it, and a sequel concept came up. I was like, oh, this is interesting, and then I just kind of wrote it out on the Facebook page, and Ash was like, we should film this, write it up. I'm like, I said, don't play with me. I'll do it. I'll write you a script.
And he has.
So
We'll see.
when is this coming out?
Oh God. You know how slow I am to make things.
2022.
Yeah, right. It'll be a while.
That's pretty good if we don't even have a full-fledged script yet. I guess I'm on an animation timeline.
It's a trailer.
Oh, we're just talking the trailer? I thought we were doing the whole
filming
feature.
The whole film.
No.
I'm
Yeah, we're
on
talking
board.
60 seconds.
Dear God. That'd
All
be
right.
a long time.
So when was this movie released?
Oh, good question.
Oh,
Do you know Patrick without
95?
Yes.
Sounds right.
You are correct. This was released February 17th, 1995.
February
To the
17th, huh?
date. Yes, to the date.
I like that Ash and I are tag teaming the Nick role right now.
Yes, yeah.
Dang, this is hard though. Being the Nick is hard.
The one movie where I know the exact day it was released is Daredevil, because
Oh,
it was
God,
February
why?
14th, Valentine's Day,
Okay.
I watched it alone and had an allergic reaction, and my feet swelled up.
What?
Wait, you were
So
allergic
That date
to
stuck out in my
Daredevil?
head. No, reaction to ibuprofen.
Oh no.
And that's the day
Nevertheless.
you found out.
It was a nice Valentine's Day.
That's
Me and Matt Murdock and swollen feet.
just
I would
hanging
like
out
to-
at the theater, popping pills.
Yep.
Fuck Valentine's Day. I would like to also point out that on IMDb, if you look up heavyweights and you scroll down and it says more like this, the first suggestion is blank check.
Wow.
I really, really want to watch Blank Check. Even
Another
I think
total
we
reference.
should.
bad.
I think we should. Yeah, I think we should. I don't know how much else we should get into it. One of the actors actually, one of the main actors, because I was looking up recently, is actually in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which you probably don't recognize him from because he's so much older now. But
But so in 2, but not the first one.
yeah, it looks like he's just in 2.
Okay. Now I've got I'm like searching my internal database, like who's in the second one, but not the first.
Oh, I don't even know
or
if you
Ving
saw
Rhames.
his face. It says facial reference, so I don't even think he
Oh,
was
he's like
in
a-
the movie.
Maybe a motion capture actor.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
And also, there is another very, very
Face
minor.
meant for CG.
Talk about directors in this movie. There's another director who has a short cameo in this movie. I forgot about
Ooh.
Peter Berg.
Oh. Well, he was an actor before he was a director.
Nick,
That one makes
Well,
more
that
sense.
would explain it then.
how do you know all these things?
I like movies.
Oh, him, yeah.
And Peter Berg's awesome. What was that movie about the guy who was? I mean, there were a couple movies like this. They were like frozen and woke up like 20 or 30 years later.
Yeah, wasn't that the one with
Encino Man?
Peter
your
Berg.
boy? Yeah, that one.
Hey, it's an old trope. It's like the father and the son switching bodies. You know, there have been a few of those.
Yeah, they're
Freaky
all
Friday?
usually
Yeah, that's the
creepy.
only one I can think of.
Yeah.
But Peter Berg directed your favorite movie, right, Brett? Battleship.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
great.
Is he of that caliber?
You'll have to double check me on that. I think he directed Battleship.
I like that we're hitting all of the hits for a Patrick guest spot. We talked about Battleship. We've talked about a Tone
Yeah.
Loc movie. We just need a Princess Bride reference for the trifecta.
You're
there.
like the Taco Bell of podcast guests. It's like it's different things, but they're all the same ingredients.
That could be a really nice compliment or a really bad insult. I'm choosing to take it as a compliment.
We are not drunk and or hungover. That is not why we're hanging out with Patrick.
I'm a little buzzed.
Well, fuck you, Brett. You're so nice.
I don't know if you guys know him by name, but Tim Blake Nelson is also
Oh
in this.
yeah,
From
He's-
Oh Brother.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Tim Blake's awesome. Yeah,
What? On the video chat,
phenomenal
Nick
in Oh
like
Brother.
leans to the side. There's a Tim
who
Blake
is he
Nelson
in Oh
poster.
Who's
and he was in Hulk.
he was Dermar O'Donnell in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Which means nothing to me because I don't remember the movie.
I don't
Oh,
remember
that's his
that.
name.
One of the three main guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll,
That's what I
you'll
saw.
recognize
Yeah.
him.
Do not seek the treasure.
Oh, okay. He was the guy with the pet mouse or pet whatever that thing was. Toad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
Pete though.
we
actually.
thought you was a toad.
I
they loved him
really
up.
hope that Nick watches this movie and just absolutely loves it because that would be amazing.
I don't know why he wouldn't. It's a masterpiece.
It's just a glaring omission from the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah.
Alan Convert is in this movie as well. Does anybody recognize?
Covert.
I don't
by
know who
name?
that is.
He's like in. You'll recognize him because he's
Yeah,
in all
he's in a
Adam
lot of
Sandler
stuff.
movies.
Yeah, 50 First Dates, Little
He's
Nicky, Happy
Did you
Gilmore.
guys see? Yeah, Grandma's Boy is really
Yeah,
popular.
Grandma's Boy.
He's the main guy in Grandma's Boy.
Oh, Sean West is the guy from Mighty Ducks that you were talking about, right?
One of them. He's unfortunately
One
was
of
in the
them,
news
yeah.
for unfortunate reasons recently.
Let's see.
So, Sam, have you seen this movie?
Yes, but I haven't seen it since I was probably like 6 or 7. Like, I remember watching this on TV with my dad. I think it came on, I don't know what channel, but
Disney.
4.
I think.
something. Yeah.
So what do you expect? Is it going to be any good?
I think I'm going to really like it. I don't think it's going to be like, a cinematic masterpiece by any means, but I think it's going to be a really fun, enjoyable movie that I think there will be things that are dated that are probably not couth for today's audience. But aside from those, I think we'll like the plot. That's my prediction. Okay. I have nothing else to go off of.
Fair enough. What do you think, Bret? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen this movie. But
Everybody's seen it.
it's honestly, it's a weird one for me to have seen because I feel like, I only ever saw it once, and I was like, heavyweights. What the hell is heavyweights? And then when I looked it up, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that movie. Sam, I think, was underselling how excited she was.
Yeah.
Downstairs, she was just like, "Whoa, my god!"
Well, it's one of those movies that like it wasn't popular enough for everyone to still like love it and remember it in the like front of their memory, like Princess Bride. There you go, Patrick. And bingo. But it's one that's like I don't know, discovering your forgotten bag of cookies in the back of your pantry, where you're like, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember liking it, and I think the mystery actor that we're not talking about is kind of like it's a good deal that's coming up. And I want to compare it to other movies in my guess of what it's going to be like, and I can't because they're all essentially like almost this movie. So I'll bring it up afterwards. But I think it's going to be good, but not like fantastic. I think it's just like there's a reason I only watched it once.
Okay.
Harsh.
So Ash, you seem kind of excited about it.
Yes. I remember really loving this movie as a kid. I think I saw it several times, but I definitely haven't seen it since. I have a little bit of an advantage because I watched the trailer recently, which like jogged a bunch of my memory because I'm working on this thing with Patrick. And so I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. I think everything Sam said is going to be true. Where I think it'll be really enjoyable, and I think there'll be a lot of stuff that's not cool anymore, but there'll still be a lot of like fun. It'll still be a fun romp to enjoy.
All right, Patrick, what do you got?
Visual art.
You seem kind of into it.
I'm expecting visual art.
Okay.
I mean, that's all I want to say about it. It's beautiful.
Oh, that's all you got. You don't want to expand too far.
No, I don't want to oversell it. It's a near perfect movie and a masterpiece. So I don't want to oversell it though.
Okay, all right.
It's my childhood, so I know it's not like it means anything to me.
We've seen a perfect movie on this podcast before, and as a matter of fact, you were a guest on that episode. So let's see.
Yes, Ace Ventura.
Whether. Let's see how Heavyweights holds against Alien. That'll be very interesting.
Before we do that, Nick,
can
we get you to take a prediction at what the plot is?
Oh yeah. What's the premise?
Movie?
All right. Well, based on the stuff that you've said and tried to retract, I get a feeling like this is in the mold of Karate Kid. It's a movie about kids playing sports. And I'm gonna I'm just gonna say it because it's in my head. There's absolutely no reason for it, but the mystery actor who's like floating in my head is Alec Baldwin. But I mean, this is, you keep talking about Apatow, so it's more recent than I thought it was. I thought
95.
Right, but I was thinking like Goonies era for some reason.
I
but
could see that
with-
from
with
the cover art.
But there's no basis for that. So those are just like random weird things floating around my head.
All
How's
right.
that?
All right.
I love it.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll see how that turns out. So we're going to pause the recording. We're going to watch Heavyweights, some of us for the very first time, and then we'll get back and see what we think of it.
Freak out.
The freak says she. Freak out.
Slide.
So I guess we need to start by addressing the elephant in the room, that movie stole a lot from Looper.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, what? Not
I know it was a movie about a guy who traveled back in time and met his younger self.
Weird. Okay.
Right?
Are you referencing that Pat and Jerry looked a lot alike? Like
They're
could
the
be-
same dude,
I always thought that. It was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He just traveled back in time and found himself as a child at the same camp and insinuated
Speaking of-
himself into his own life.
By travel back in time, do you mean like hung around for 18 years?
Yeah.
Because that's what happened.
Speaking of Pat lookalikes, Pat, the counselor of the
Camp MVP.
Camp MVP,
Oh, no.
looked just like you.
Oh, no.
Sam was like, Pat's in this.
Maybe you slowly modeled your look after that all these years. You just
yep.
subconsciously, you had no idea. So
funny.
I was watching the movie, and then like 5 seconds in, it's like Ben Stiller as Tony whatever, and I was like, God damn it!
Yeah,
Well, no, I made a point to not read the on-screen
good.
credits.
Oh, good.
Which is, have you ever tried to do that, like not read text in front of your face? It's a weird, difficult thing to do.
I think it's humanly impossible.
But I did see Jeffrey Tambor, so I'm glad like that was one you'd already said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the rest of them I managed to not actively read.
Oh, awesome.
So the weird little path I walked down because, of course, I had to search for it and find it and tried not to look at the screen. And then the poster flashes on the screen, and what registered in my head was Steve Carell dressed like Rambo.
Okay.
I was like, oh, is that Steve Carell? No, don't look. And then I kept on going.
I definitely, if you don't look closely, you could definitely not know that it's Ben Stiller.
And it was a great reveal for somebody who didn't know what it was. Although the moment you see Jerry Stiller, you have to
Yeah.
assume that it's a Ben Stiller movie. I don't know why I didn't make the connection.
I think that's the one Pat was saying, like, well,
Yeah.
there's one other person we can't talk about.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's
But-
in all of his films.
Yeah.
guys, I think I'm just now making the connection that that's Ben Stiller's dad.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Wow.
Which
Yep.
is extra funny in movies where Ben Stiller's character's dad shows up and it's never Jerry Stiller.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like some other guy.
We also didn't even talk about Kenan Thomas.
Yeah.
Thompson. Yeah.
Thompson. Yeah, sorry.
So-
I actually had his name in front of my face and I still said it wrong.
Well, because he was in D2 and D3, the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
He was the creator of the Knuckle Puck in D2.
Oh,
So that's actually the one thing about this movie I have seen and not known what it was. You know how they have like, people put these pictures online where it's like several shots of a movie with the dialogue and it's, it's supposed to be hilarious because you see this scene play out in still images. And I saw that where he's like on the plane and he's like, you going to fat camp? No, why? Because you're fat. Well, you're fat. Yeah, because I'm going to fat camp.
Yeah.
When I saw that online, I had no idea it was in a movie about fat camp. And I read that last line very sad when I saw it, and it was very happy in the movie. It's much funnier if you read that last line sad.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because I'm going to fat camp.
Just like,
Because it
yeah.
is sad.
But it was a cool scene. And it's like, oh, that's where I've seen this. But yeah, that was the onlyest thing I've ever been exposed to from this movie.
Wow.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it kind of is, again, a generational gap, because for me as a kid, this movie was on the Disney Channel like nonstop. I
Okay.
remember seeing it run several times on the Disney Channel for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
I could understand that.
I could see you missing it.
And I'm definitely at a far end of the spectrum, because this is one that, like I said, that my sister and I would watch over and over and over again, and just definitely grew up quoting it to each other.
There were a lot of good quotes.
Yeah.
I wish I had written them down, but I was drinking wine, so I didn't.
Well, I still, to this day, will, I open like the fridge and there's like turkey or ham or something in there, I'll pull it. If I have an audience that will appreciate it, I'll pull it out and go, oh, look, a deli meat.
Get this salami off of my back.
Yeah.
But that is something I feel like I didn't really register as a kid, that as an adult watching it, I was like, that's kind of room temperature.
Yeah.
That's kind of gross.
I was gonna say one of the grossest things for me in this movie is licking melted candy bar off of some other kid's stomach. It's so disgusting. It is funny,
And
but
all the kids did it.
some of my favorite lines were actually not major punchlines. They were quietly said by other actors, sort of in the you could miss them. At one point, the one guy is coaching the kid on how to hit the baseball bat, and he's backing away slowly, and he's you got this, just hit the ball, just swing the bat. I have no idea what I'm doing, and he just keeps backing away.
Well, I like how he says, keep your eye on the bat.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
Well, he did throw the bat at everyone moments prior to that.
Can we talk about the really weird Seymour Butts joke?
Oh,
yeah, that was... Wait.
So
I was thinking of a different scene. I was
Googled it.
thinking where he did the crunches into
The
a
butt.
10-year-old's ass.
Oh.
But you're talking about something
that was
else.
Hilarious. No, the Seymour Butts thing, I Googled it, and although it seems like a really bad comp for TV, apparently that's the original.
Wait, they're really... No, it totally looked like ADR. They replaced the joke.
They ADR'd it, but that's the original release. It was never a different joke.
so they
And
tested
I think that
It
happened a
was
few
when they
times
shot
in the movie.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they shot... when they were doing the big go-kart race at the end, the MVP kid definitely said shit.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
And I think they thought, oh, no, let's change this for the release. Let's make it a little bit more kid-friendly.
Because I can definitely see Judd Apatow writing some jokes and Disney later being actually, let's replace this with Seymour Butts or something more tame.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that, Patrick, that the Seymour Butts thing is totally dubbed over?
Yes, it threw me off. I remember as a kid that, and then you said the oh shit, shoot, and then there was one other time that always stood out to me that felt heavily ADR'd or just very noticeably. I'm trying to think now what it was. The Seymour Butts for sure. Oh, it's killing me now.
You'll think of it
Yeah.
eventually.
Well,
I'm just going to say it randomly out of context. I'll just say the line.
There was one where they were doing that pushing the go-kart scene, and a question is asked that is not actually said by anyone. And then the kid responded to it. I was like, who said that?
I went to a camp one summer that had a blob like that.
Oh, yeah, it does look
awesome.
fun as hell.
Yeah, they're really strict on the weight disparity between the two people doing it. The person jumping down can only be so many pounds heavier than the person getting tossed.
I was wondering about that because you want to get the fattest kid to bounce you.
Yeah, but they had, I think it was a 50 pound was the max. This is you couldn't have someone more than 50 pounds jump while you were on it for you. To launch you.
I remember there was a YouTube thing a while back where someone maxed it out, and that was like, okay, that's so dangerous. That person's way too high in the air right now. So
yeah, you get tossed. It's what's crazy is the one that they did. It was really really big and it had these colored sections, and you could have more than one person be the bouncee. They just had to stay in your own section, so there was distance, so you wouldn't collide with each other.
Oh my god!
And then if you didn't fall off, you stayed on and you moved down to the next section. And then if every section was filled, it was called a blob war, and you basically would wrestle until someone fell off it.
Oh, wow.
awesome.
A blob war sounds really weird. So I Googled it and I found the original line for the Seymour Butts thing.
Oh yeah.
He actually says Peter fits. So he says nobody's Peter fits like yours, Uncle Tony.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep.
They should
Seymour
probably
Butts is
change
way
that.
better.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ew, yeah.
Who the fuck wrote a pedophilia joke? That's messed up.
Judd Apatow.
Yeah.
It's like the same person who wrote the joke about him doing a crunch into a 10-year-old
A naked
bear
butt.
ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so damn funny, though. His
that's-
response to that, the snake hands.
Oh my.
I mean, that's
and,
more
like-
innocent, you know? It's not as gross because, like, it doesn't allude to sex.
They're
And, like,
11.
yeah, and they're little. Like, you don't, like, it's gross, and they were in it to gross him out, and it succeeded, you know? But the other joke is like, no, that's a blatant child sex joke. That's awful.
Yeah. Also, like, the person who wrote that is the person who wrote a movie where the adults go along with kidnapping someone. Like, that was bananas,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, what? It's insane. They electrocute him. That is way worse than anything he did to those
To be
children.
fair, none of the adults saw that there was an electrified fence.
Did they?
There was always there was
don't
no adult in the
know.
room at that time.
So,
Electrocution is always those things as a kid you think is funny when you see it.
Yeah.
Because there's no visible, like you can't see. So as a kid, you just think, that's so funny. It's like when I shock my finger or my foot on the carpet or something like that. And as an adult, you realize, oh no, that's like really, 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 really bad for your
Yeah.
body. That can
Yeah.
fuck
This
you
one
up.
seemed like the opposite version of like Matilda, where like the school was way out of line and then they responded proportionately. This is
Yeah.
like, no, this was kind of like a normal movie, and like that guy was a dick, but whoa, they kidnapped
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
And electrocuted him and, like, starved him.
Yeah.
it kind of started out as like a normal Disney Channel type movie, and then it quickly turned into Wet Hot American Summer for kids.
Yes.
Including, I was excited to see Peter Berg, who showed up for 4 seconds.
Is the cook.
And the little bit that he did was exactly the same as the cook in Wet Hot American Summer.
Yes.
And
I
then he was
thinking that
gone,
too.
like he was never there.
Yeah.
Isn't that Christopher Maloney in What American
Yes,
Summer? The guy,
yes.
yeah.
Yep. Oh, by the way, it's Late to Dinner. That's the movie that Peter Berg was in where people are frozen and woken up 30 years later.
Oh.
Late for dinner.
I'm really glad you
'Cause
figured
everybody
that out.
cared
It was
about that.
bugging me.
I would really like to have a slow motion food fight firework party. Where can I sign up for that camp?
Fat camp.
But it's not just a normal food fight. It's a food fight with yourself, where the goal is
Right.
to get
Yes.
as much food into your
Yes.
own mouth as possible.
I was thinking about the logistics of like the quantity of food being thrown around, and I was like, that party lasted for 35 seconds. Like,
Yeah. And they really should have established one of the kids as being really, really rich.
Yeah, where'd they get that money? To, like,
Yeah, they were
order
like
all the
paying
food?
off all of these food delivery people, but where did that money come from?
Well,
It was-
I guess their parents have the money for fancy fat camp.
yeah, they were
so-
flying them to camp.
Yeah. That one kid came from England.
And then, you know what's funny is, as a kid, it seemed to make sense to me that they'd have that crazy food orgy party. Like, yeah, we run it, but no, it's kind of
Whoa,
like,
wait a minute,
yeah,
Patrick.
yeah.
I don't know. That's accurate. That's very accurate.
Free for all. Free for all. Is that more? appropriate.
Just kidding.
But
Food orgy free for all. There you go.
yep, because that
There we go. Better, better, yeah.
You got rid of the problematic word there. But what dawned on me was, it's not like they've been deprived. That's the whole other point that got them to here, is that they've been cheating this whole time and still eating junk food. So it's not like they've been deprived of it for 3 months, and now this is a big blowout. It's like, no, you've been eating this shit the whole time.
Well, that's the thing about diets, right? Is like, you don't diet and you're like, okay, and then the minute you're on a diet, you're like, I want all the chocolate and candy in the world and I can't have it and I need it.
I have to admit, it took all of the self-restraint I had to not go eat a cookie while watching this movie.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe it's because the script was originally written where the kids lost a ton of weight because they were forced to, and then everybody came to the realization of, we can't force child actors to lose 50 pounds each?
Maybe.
And they had to rewrite around that?
Maybe.
I
think
that scene where he's like, you gained 9 pounds. It was like,
that was hilarious.
too good.
But it's also like a surprisingly modern concept. Like, this is a very body positive story.
Yeah.
Like, the camp starts out as like all these kids, they're like, it's their safe space. They don't get teased. They can be happy with themselves. It's the best summer of their lives. They tease the skinny counselor. And then the literal Nazis come in and like tease them for being fat.
So that actually plugs into a really important question I had. If Ben Stiller had not shown up, what would have happened at this camp? It would have just been fat kids having a good summer.
I think
That's not an effective fat camp. That's not what a fat camp is for.
I mean, this is just in my mind, but the canon that I've always had is that the original couple that ran the camp ran it as a guise. Like they told parents that it was a fat camp to lose weight, but really they just felt bad for these kids, and so they just wanted them to come and like have a good time.
Oh, that's really sweet.
That's what I always like, because they were felt very much like grandma and grandpa, like, you know. And the way the kids, you know,
I was just looking at this willful ignorance. Like
that could be it too.
It's, you know, they're like, we know they're not, but it's like equal parts. We want them to have a good time and, if, you know, try to help them get healthier. But we know that they're sneaking and cheating, but we let it go. And but Nick, yes, they probably would have just hung out and eaten their junk food stash and not lost a pound. But that's the whole point, is they go back and tell their parents how much they love it so much and plead and beg to go back. That I'm sure that's what
making it the
happens.
most ineffective fat camp ever.
Yeah.
I mean, if fat camps were effective, they'd like be a thing.
Yeah.
Are they not?
No.
No. Have you, like, where? I mean, there might
Not
be
really.
some, but like, who?
Wasn't there like an MTV True? What was it called? True Life? Or
Where
about
they're like,
fat camp?
look at this hellscape.
That's interesting. Is this a thing that I assumed was real that's not real?
Well, it's like The Biggest Loser, like that show. You know, yes, people lose weight on that show, but then as soon as they leave the show, they just put all the weight back on. That system of like purging your body really quickly of weight is not an effective.
Oh yeah,
system.
And they overtrain them. Those people's read stories, like half the contestants, their knees are just done after that.
Yeah, it's never a good. Like you can't healthily lose weight in a short span of time. You just can't.
Well, I guess I placed it as like, oh, clearly this is something that existed in like the 60s and the 70s. And
Sure.
would be considered completely dangerous at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Were they real?
I think fat camps are like quicksand. They technically exist, but they're way, way, way less common than TV would lead us to believe. And
way less dangerous.
I like that.
Yeah. There's probably not a crazy dude in spandex running around.
Well, like the concept of fat camp seems like a thing that, like, there's probably a couple that exist so that everyone can feel like, well, at least someone's trying out there. But
So I was watching this movie and I realized, like, I think one of the reasons why this movie really resonated me as a kid is because I didn't really go to a fat camp, but I went to I had a similar situation as a kid. So as a kid, I was a fat kid, and I went to this after school like daycare place, and the lady who ran it was like just awful, horrible. And she made us run laps, like not around the school, but around the city block unsupervised. And she'd be like, all the fat kids have to run 10 extra laps or whatever it was.
What?
And and we would like, as kids, we would tell our parents. And of course, being parents, they don't believe you because you're a child, just like in this film. And so I think that's why this movie really resonated with me as a kid, because I was like, yeah, like nobody listened to me.
You know what's funny is I feel like it's a totally a generational thing though, with the believing, just giving the benefit of the doubt to the adult all the time. Because we were talking about this with our neighbors. We all have young kids, and man, my 2.5-year-old says some weird, wild stuff. But I feel like if she told me something like that, I would 100% give her the benefit of the doubt and believe her, and then because she says
Not
stuff.
in an 80s movie.
No,
No, yeah.
But I feel like when I was like when we were kids, the adult would have always gotten the overwhelming benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, totally. And I think that's why, like, in the 90s, it kind of spurred a bunch of films like this. Like, we've talked about it before, that the 90s have this theme of kids' movies where the kids are smarter than adults, or the kids, you know, trump adults in some way, just like in Jumanji, you know.
Camp Nowhere, kind of
Yeah.
in the same vein.
Have you noticed that there's one Ben Stiller evil character?
It's a lot like the Ben Stiller nice characters, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same character when he does the blue steel face, right? Like,
Yeah, and Mystery Men. It's that same voice.
Yeah.
Oh well, and
I'm
Dodgeball,
a little
he's
dumb and
literally-
really mean.
Dodgeball
Yeah.
is literally the same character.
Totally.
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
Right.
Makes
yeah.
me bleed my own blood.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's kind of one note.
yeah, but there's some funny notes in there too. I mean, the whole and again, this is going back as like teenagers or young adults. With my sister, we'd rewatch it. We'd pick up on some of his lines that didn't really like hit home as kids, and the whole "I'm looking forward to interacting with children for the first time."
Yes,
is
I did
Yeah.
love that.
like,
That was great. I've been homeschooled my whole life. Like,
yeah.
And did he get super cut just for this movie?
Right? It's
Oh
crazy
my God.
how cut he is in this film.
Yeah, but did he put in all that work for this?
I mean, I feel like he's always been in decent shape, but
Yeah.
it's probably like
dude, Disney's
just
got
got-
deep pockets, man.
I mean, if he was really cut, we should have seen it in Zoolander, right?
Was it the same? Was it the same year?
I
don't
mean-
think it was.
No, I mean, like, he should have been showing off in Zoolander. I think Zoolander
Oh.
would have been quite a bit after this one.
Well, he could have gotten cut.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, like
For the
Dodgeball, he's in really good shape in Dodgeball.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like he's always in. I feel like he's pretty consistently in. He's a lean guy in decent
I
shape.
just
but he
never
probably-
think of him as, like, super muscly. In this, he's like, damn, Ben Stiller.
I think he definitely got extra ripped for the film.
Well, my
Yeah.
my headcanon for Ben Stiller is that he's unaware that he's a comedy actor.
I love it.
Didn't Charlie Sheen get really ripped for Hot Shots?
Yes.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
like really, like putting in a ton of effort for like weird movies.
Those
You know
movies are
what's
worth it.
I mean, the
part
gag
two.
in Hot Shots was worth it, but damn, that must have taken a lot of work.
Yeah.
It was like It's Always Sunny when Matt gained a bunch of weight between seasons.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's. Have you seen him now?
No.
Now he's super ripped again.
He's yeah, like Hugh Jackman shredded. Like it's crazy.
It's interesting because I recently just watched Along Came Polly, which was
Oh, yeah.
filmed in 2004. And I remember thinking the same thing with that movie, Nick. I was like, wow, I didn't realize Ben Stiller was so ripped. I mean, he's more ripped in this for sure. But like, I was definitely thought the same. So maybe there's a period of time there where he really hit
Yeah.
the gym hard. I mean, bro, do you even lift? Children. Do you lift children?
And devil logs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a new spin-off podcast where Ash judges the Stiller bod in every movie.
I do this
then you have
podcast
to
with you,
include
Ash.
that incredibly overstuffed leotard or unitard he was wearing with the huge bulge in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
That's a blank stare from Ash. But yeah, he had like, that thing was stuffed.
Wow, I didn't notice that.
It was comical.
Yeah.
So let's be real though, Nick. It's your new favorite movie, right? Like it's like Heavyweights, then Alien.
Right.
Then Princess Bride.
Yeah.
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 No.
No.
No. I guess
Nick.
it's final thoughts. I don't want to, but I'm legit. The first note I wrote down was, "I wish I was in the room with Nick watching this."
Yeah.
Wow.
Just to see.
I wish I was watching Nick watch this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just imagining like I'm watching a movie and Patrick's staring at me.
Yeah.
Just
Do you like that? Do you
give me
like
a
that?
taste of what that's like. It's like right here.
Yeah. or that infuriating thing where somebody's like, "Oh, this part's good. Watch
comes a good part."
this,"
Oh yeah, yeah.
and now
Kinda
you've
like-
just ruined it.
Flutter my fingers by the side of your face. Just watch this part. Watch this part.
Yeah.
Here goes the
Yeah.
good part. Pay attention.
But before we move on to final thoughts, did you all watch to the end of the credits?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So I said that in the chat. That's crazy. As many times as I feel like I've made it pretty clear. I've seen this movie quite a bit. I did not know that scene existed.
Yeah, you know, I
What?
was watching it and I was like, I feel like there's something at the end of the credits. And part of me was like, nah, they didn't do that then. But I just had this feeling like I remembered something, but I didn't remember it specifically. And at the end of the credits, if you haven't seen it, is Tony. He's a door-to-door crystal salesman, which is pretty hilarious.
Yeah. I love how relevant that still is.
Yeah.
Like with essential oils and homeopathy and all this stuff.
And
like,
crystals. Crystals are still a thing.
yeah, that's true. Like,
Against
Oh,
all
yeah.
fucking odds.
And it kind of struck me like, Ben Stiller isn't going to let this movie get away from him with him not being in the last 15 minutes. Like, no, I'm still here. Pay
I think
attention.
that's why he had to play his father as well. He was
Yeah.
like,
So good.
is
I like
it?
that. I liked it. I liked it.
it was great.
But imagine Jerry Stiller playing that character.
Yeah. That would have been great.
That would have been even better.
Yeah. What if Ben Stiller played the guy who had lost the camp that he bought it from?
Yeah,
Because they were never in the. It'd be easy to film. They were never on screen together.
that's true.
Did you notice the other Seinfeld character in this movie?
No.
It was driving me crazy. Where have I seen the nurse?
Oh, me too.
She was the virgin in Seinfeld.
Are you sure?
Remember when Jerry was dating a virgin?
Did you IMDb verify that?
I had to. That's where I found it on IMDb.
Oh.
Yeah,
Was it,
so
did,
I-
you,
Also-
did you have to. Go ahead.
that is not from memory. So
Okay.
if anybody's wrong, it's IMDb.
She was also in Little Nicky and Mighty Ducks too.
So I must have seen her in Little
Really?
Nicky too. I
Yeah.
don't really remember it.
Who's she in Mighty Ducks too?
Terry at Party, so maybe not.
Was Little Nicky
Okay.
that bad?
Yes.
I don't remember any details about it, and I remember really not liking it.
I remember it's one of the most Adam Sandler blatant paid product placement-y.
Oh.
Like it's
Product
rife
placement.
with product placement throughout that movie.
Interesting.
I
Oh,
just
just lots of various things.
But like so much so that you think, is this a Wayne's World bit? Because it's that
okay.
bad. Like
Yeah. I just remember it was so bad that even middle school Sam couldn't make it through. Which says a lot.
yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah,
literally he discovers his demon angel powers or whatever and then uses them to manifest Popeye's chicken.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because in my there's like that timeline of the Sandler movies where like they're watchable and then not watchable, and this was like the cusp. It was the last. It was either the last watchable one or the first unwatchable one, and I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I think it's pretty rough.
Yeah. Did you guys know that Adam Sandler and Judd Apatow were roommates at one point?
What?
Sounds
so.
right.
Because
Yeah.
don't they play legitimately old like home videos of them at the beginning of Funny People?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it
yeah, I
either.
think it starts with actual when they were like roommates, just kind of getting started in comedy.
Yeah,
That's probably why it seems so right. Like, if you say, like, they're best friends, it's like, yeah, of course. And it must be because of Funny People.
Yeah, I guess for me the biggest tragedy though is that because it was kind of last minute. Because, you know, I was asleep this whole time and just woke up and you guys were recording, so I hopped in. But is that it's in the laundry, so I couldn't wear it. I have that exact same outfit that Tim was wearing when we were first introduced to him. You know, the cut off, the belly shirt, football jersey,
Oh my
and the jean
God.
shorts with the boots.
Wow.
Yep, I got the exact same one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was definitely on theme with my costume today, or outfit, too. I'm wearing my Imperial Summer Camp Star Wars shirt.
Oh, yeah,
Nice.
I saw that.
It's just perfect.
Yeah. That's amazing. So, Nick, I think we're all dying to know what you thought of the film. Should we start with
He
you?
hated it. It's going to break my heart. I don't want to know, Nick. Lie.
Do you
Lie
want
to
to go
me.
first, Sam? Before he breaks your heart?
I mean,
Nick, go. All right, you look right into the webcam. You look right here. In the webcam.
Look us in the eyes.
I mean, there was some fun stuff for sure, but overall, it wasn't super great.
Wasn't super great. Oh no.
What the fuck?
No.
All right.
You
We
just
were-
like Lars's like whole I love
Body.
Lars. Lars is the best.
Okay, here's a good example of like where this movie could have been great.
Oh,
Is
no.
when he's writing the letter to his grandmother. And he's writing this letter in the style of the Civil War soldiers writing letters home. That scene could have been brilliant. But instead, it just kind of fell flat, you know? They could have really played up this awesome farce of it being like him being in the Civil War. But instead, it's just like, it's like they were walking towards that joke and didn't follow through.
Well, wait. They had a scene of the kids trying to kill a cow with a tennis racket.
Yeah.
But it's certainly not a bad movie. Like, there was definitely fun stuff. I'm just not gonna say it was the best thing. I might be like my cup might be runneth over with Ben Stiller.
That's fair.
When I saw There's Something About Mary, I was in, man. There's Something About Mary is so good.
There's just something
think-
about
I
it.
hate that movie so much.
Every Ben Stiller experience after that has been less enjoyable.
When
you-
was the Something About Mary? Wasn't that after?
It was like 2000 or 99 or something.
No,
Yeah, it
was
had to have been after this.
Yeah.
98.
Oh.
I don't know. That's
So
my
do
guess.
you wish Heavyweights was more like Something About Mary, Nick?
I mean, I'm not going to say I want this to be something else. I think it speaks to the experiment of this podcast, because I think this movie is extremely enjoyable to, you know, a 10 to 15-year-old, right? and now those people as adults remember it fondly. And if you see it the first time as an adult, you say, "Oh, that's a cute movie. Kids would like that." But it doesn't do much
So
for me.
what you're saying is that we all have the attention span of a 10 to 15-year-old.
He's not wrong.
No,
That's fair.
that's not what I'm saying.
Wow, Something About Mary was 98, so really
Bam!
Bam!
3 years after this?
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Called it.
Because clearly Ben Stiller's on the rise at this moment. This is early in the rise. This movie
That's
that we just
crazy.
watched.
It feels like two totally different eras to me.
Yeah, it does.
When was Dodgeball?
That was later 2000, like 3. That's my
What
guess.
did you ask? You totally cut out.
I said, when was
Yeah.
Dodgeball?
Oh,
Yeah, that was much later.
That's
Early aughts?
But I feel like spiritually they are the same movie. This and that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it helps that he's the exact same character, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Dodgeball is more adult geared and
Yeah.
Heavyweights is child focused. Targeted to
Dodgeball
children.
was 2004.
that's close.
Yeah. I feel like this movie, like, while I see what you're saying, Nick, I feel like this movie very much reflects that time period, though, of like 1995, like the style and the way it's made, and the fact that they didn't quite walk it all the way to that joke, because I feel like at that time a kids movie wouldn't,
Yeah.
comedy has really like evolved, and I think it's become sharper and punchier now, but in the 90s, like these sort of half-assed jokes were kind of the thing, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Though that being said, that's like surprisingly not problematic. I know Sam had mentioned at the beginning she expected there, and I wanted to say something like, actually, I think it's pretty. But I didn't want to put my foot in my mouth. I'm on a no-foot diet. But there wasn't really anything.
It was pretty
that was,
conscientious. Yeah. There was like the dressing up as American Indians at the end. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that part's not cool anymore. But
Yeah.
And
well, there's the whole thing where they kidnap a person. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, but he's the bad guy.
but
And
that's
that's very
absurd.
80s movie logic.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I did expect a lot more from Kenan.
Yeah, he's not really.
But
He doesn't.
this
really,
was, I think, pre all that, though, was it? Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was before that and before
Oh,
Good
yeah.
Burger and
Oh
all
yeah.
of that.
I'm gonna.
Huh.
I'm
Yeah.
going to IMDb.
When was Good Burger? Because Kenan looks so young
Okay.
in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's been so long. I've never actually seen Good Burger, but it's been a while since I've like
What?
been conscious of that.
It's
Gergerberger
really-
was 1997.
What?
Oh wow.
Mighty Ducks was the first thing he did. Mighty Ducks 2.
Oh,
And
wow.
then Heavyweights was the second.
Wow.
He looks
Okay.
way
Then it
older
makes
in
sense.
Good Burger compared to this. And it was only 2
He
years
does
Yeah.
look way
difference.
older. Yeah.
It was like, that's crazy.
How
But it
did
was really funny that someone else, not me, brought it up, because that's the other one that my sister and I watched on
Oh,
stuff.
Good Burger.
Yeah, and we'll
I mean,
say
I wouldn't
lines
be
to each
against
other.
it. You know,
I haven't seen it either, actually. I've never seen it.
So this was a Disney movie?
Yes.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think that's if there is a problem with movie, that's what it is. Is if this was a Nickelodeon movie, it would have been fucking lit the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's just weird to think Judd Apatow did a Disney movie in the mid '90s with kids. What?
He was interacting with kids for the first time.
That was his inner self.
It's such a surprise.
Yeah.
I bet that Disney paycheck was very nice.
Yeah, that's what I said to Bret. He was like, "How did they get Ben Stiller for this?" And I was like, "Disney had deep pockets." Like,
This is like finding out that Dan Harmon and Rob Schraub wrote Monster House.
wait,
It's
what?
just, really?
Really?
Yeah,
Like
it's
the-
weird. Like
Yeah.
these
Dan
people who
Harmon?
are now known for being very sharp and very edgy, like the first scripts they sold were kind of.
But Monster House is kind of regarded as being a really good, underrated animated movie.
You know, I haven't actually seen it. It's just, it's a surprise.
kinda
Like
dark.
I didn't expect that.
is.
Yeah,
dark.
it is kind of dark.
It's a real dark
It's
movie.
like serious and dark.
Well, also, Nick, us writers are three-dimensional people with complex thoughts and emotions,
And
we don't only
range.
have to write the same thing
That's
over and over.
right.
Yeah.
Space Tripping 2. Space Tripping 2.
When are we gonna get that sequel?
So, Sam, what did you think?
I think it exceeded my expectations by a lot. And
Wow.
it was super fun, and Brett and I were cracking up laughing pretty much, possibly more than we were during Clue. And
Oof.
at least,
Definitely not more than Clue.
okay, well,
Oof.
it was still super funny, and I did think it kind of fell apart once they kidnapped him, but once I was on board with it being absurd humor, I was totally fine, and it was great. And it was really enjoyable and ridiculous and a really good kids movie. So that's where I stand.
Can I mention one thing about Clue?
Sure.
It's apparently Luna corrected me. The British Well, no, not that much. The British pronunciation would be Cluedo,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but because Italians have this way of pronouncing every single letter, her accent, it is Cluedo, and that's I thought
Yep.
that's what it was. But still, I mean, the point is, it's not Clue everywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
But sorry, Sam, you reminded me of that when you mentioned Clue.
No worries. That was it. That's all I have to say. It was awesome.
I'll go next. This movie really is. I guess Clue is also a good comparison. I know it's not like the greatest movie, but it's the kidnapping thing, the absurdity of it, the licking the chocolate off of the kid, like all of that stuff is totally my brand of humor. It's stuff that doesn't really get put in a lot anymore into films where
Yeah.
you say that joke doesn't make sense, and it's like that's why it's funny.
Sure.
And I kind of miss that stuff, because it's not just stupid, it's absurd.
Yeah. Like him throwing the glasses down and like walking over the broken glass. It's just so
and like
over
obviously
the top.
not up to it.
Yeah.
He's just
Or like the part where he's laying on the bed of nails and they hit the ice thing and then he has to like kind of
Yes.
peel himself off the nails. I was like, ouch.
Oh yeah, I mean the 18th level of the Perkis system,
Yeah.
which we all should have done this
Or
past
his-
weekend, which was Labor Day.
Yeah.
his whole like the Icarus rolling the rock up the hill, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
totally
Well-
wrong
good.
thing.
Yes, because yes. So that took me forever to realize, like, oh wait, that's the wrong Greek myth.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing. I think, yeah, that's all it is. I miss that kind of humor, and I'm really glad to have seen, gotten another taste of it in this. So I liked it. That was good.
I'm glad I got the opportunity to have another taste of that British fudge.
What?
It made me think of them like licking the fudge off of that one kid.
Ugh.
I will say though, you might have been expecting more from Kenan. I had the thought watching this that like this is. I think Kenan delivers an even performance from then and through his entire career. Like that is how funny Kenan Thompson is, and it was funny. But I think that's how funny he is.
Yeah,
Nah.
I kind of would have to.
He's done
agree
some
with you
great stuff on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
there. He's okay.
He's all right.
I feel like he was much better on all that. And on Saturday Night Live, he's like, sometimes he's just way too over the top.
I want to go back and
I
watch
don't
some
know.
all that.
Well,
Me too.
Yeah.
you know the whole thing with him on Saturday Night Live, right? Is they sometimes will just literally write in, and then the camera cuts to Kenan and he does something, or he makes. Literally will say like he does something or makes a face.
So he's really just making it up on the spot.
Yeah, they'll be like,
Oh, wow.
cut to Kenan and they'll say like, make a face, or it literally. I've heard us an interview with a writer was, we've literally written, it cuts to Kenan and he does something.
No pressure, Kenan.
That's funny. So what did you think, Patrick?
Well, I had a big old smile on my face the whole time watching this because there's the nostalgia element, and I legitimately enjoy it. Like to Bret, it's just there's an element of whimsy to it that I
Totally.
think that is we don't see as much these days. Everyone's just trying to out clever each other, and I think sometimes it's good to just feel like this is just it's ridiculous that they quote unquote kidnapped him in self-defense, which I don't know if that's physically possible because kidnapping feels pretty planned out and structured.
Yeah.
And I think self-defense, kind of in the moment. But no, I think it's very enjoyable. I think if you watched it as a kid and you haven't seen it in a while, go give it a watch, throw it on. You might be pleasantly
definitely.
surprised.
Yeah, I agree. I also really enjoyed it. I felt like I was surprised that it held up more than I thought it would. And I thought it was pretty fun. I was laughing throughout, and I feel like when you said, Sam, you said it felt like a wet, hot American summer, but for kids. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's the perfect description of it, for sure.
Which is a good thing to be in the world. Like it's it's like this theme park back in Virginia has the big awesome roller coasters and the Scooby-Doo roller coaster for kids. You know, it's like you got to have a wet hot American summer, but for kids.
Yeah.
For the kids. You know,
Yeah.
for the kids.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us again, Patrick. I hope the sofa's comfy there.
Did
Mind if I grab a shower? I got like 20
Patrick-
minutes till my lift gets here.
You really got to go this time, though. I'm sorry. Just
And just in case people didn't hear last week's show, you should tell us a little bit about Space Trippin' and you're working on follow-ups.
I mean, nothing's really happened since last time because I've just been sleeping, as we've established.
Get to work on the next book.
Well, I've been busy at Ash's Ed. We've got this little themed project, which is why I'm here for this one.
yeah.
Okay. And so
sleeping on Ash's 2,500 mile long couch.
It's really comfortable. You can fit a lot of people.
So where is the best place to get Space Trippin', the sci-fi comedy action novel?
Wherever books are sold. No,
Anywhere but
yes and
really
no.
anywhere.
So it's
yard sales.
Obviously Amazon. Online, you can do Amazon, Target, Barnes and Noble. It's in Barnes and Noble stores. It's in independent bookstores. It really depends on, the store if they chose to pull it from their distributor. I think we talked about that the first time I was on with you guys, the whole process. If you want,
I don't want to retread stuff, but I definitely want to make sure people who haven't heard other episodes know about the book and can get their hands on it.
I checked Powell's Books in Portland, and they didn't have it, and I was really
What
sad.
the fuck, Powell's?
I know.
It's okay.
Get on
I'll
it,
go there
pals.
and request it for you.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's paperback in the stores. You can buy it ebook at the different online, and then Amazon only has you can only get the audiobook from Amazon on Audible.
Who read it? I feel like you.
A guy named Nicholas Tukoski. He's a voice actor. He's done a number of books. Yeah.
Yes, I've listened to a book that he's done. He's kind of got an interesting voice.
He did it interesting because it's all aliens, and he basically took different accents from around the world here, and then he did a really good job of paying attention to because I've got a lot. I threw a lot in there. Went a little crazy, but he definitely did. He made it, and they all work really well. Like he's like, this race is all going to sound Russian. This race is all going to sound Irish.
Awesome,
and it works. I was like, I didn't think of it that way, but it does a really good job of kind of breaking it up.
Oh wow! I think I have an Audible credit. I'm gonna get the audio.
I think it's if you've got Prime or Unlimited, one of those different subscription things that it's on it's free or something like. I think if you have Prime, it might be
Kindle
free.
Library, maybe.
One of those, I think it's on there, yeah. So I think it might just be Prime. If you have Prime, it might be free. I don't know. Go check it. But, and if it's free, do me a favor, leave a review. Hopefully, a good
wanting
one.
to sell books.
Yeah.
But I guess you get something from the subscription royalties.
Yeah. They track that. There's metrics and things, and it's above my. It goes above my head. I don't know. I just make sure that I just check my account. Does something get deposited?
Yeah.
But,
I just got your audio thing, so there you go.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I guess that's not a question for now, but with music, there's certain marketplaces where the artists definitely get a bigger cut. Is it like that for books, or does it not really matter where you buy your book from?
No, honestly, I don't. Not no. Wherever you can get it from, it's and obviously if you buy it used, no. but no. And the funny thing is, I make this ebook or paperback. I make the same. So
Nice.
Cool.
Interesting.
Cool. Well, any Twitters or anything we should keep an eye out for?
Oh yeah, I'm at the Pat Edwards on Twitter. I have other social media, but really that's the only one I guess I jump in and out of the Let's Rewatch Facebook group, so you can catch me there. But other than that, pretty much Twitter is I'm the most active on. I keep trying Instagram. I go through phases, but my brain works with words. It just fits better. So Twitter's my medium.
Nice. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us again for
I promise to
heavyweights.
give you a break for a while, Nick. Get a pat break.
We love to see you. Just
Yeah,
snuggle up with this teddy bear, and we'll see you next
Yeah.
time.
Even now, all this time later, Alien is still our episode with the highest downloads.
Cool.
Because it's the best movie.
It still gets
And
more
the best
downloads.
guest.
It's a perfect movie, and is it a perfect episode of our podcast?
It's a perfect podcast. Yeah.
It's a perfect podcast.
Yeah.
I like how Nick threw all the credit to the movie and not Patrick at all.
Patrick's riding that movie's coattails.
All right. Well, if you like the show, this is part of the Laugh Stash TV network of content. It's this podcast and a YouTube channel with a drinking show, video game parodies, and a lot of other crazy stuff.
We actually recently released Cop Pockets, which is our Hot Pockets 90s commercial parody, and it already has over 6,000 views. So get on it. If
Nice.
you haven't seen it, it's only a minute and 7 seconds long. I think you can take that time out of your life and
I
watch this video.
I know what your sequel to Cop Pockets should be.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a meme on Facebook, I think, or Reddit, and it was Hot Topics, and it was all of the goth people in a Hot Pocket, and so that should be your sequel.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Or just the same commercial, but with goths.
Yep.
But you can also follow us on Twitter. We're at LaughStashTV on Twitter, or you can follow this podcast at Let's Rewatch on Twitter. And we have, as Patrick mentioned, a Facebook group page where people talk about lots of fun stuff, like making a Heavyweights 2 parody trailer. So you're missing out on all that fun stuff there. So look up, it's Let's Rewatch Podcast, and it's a closed group, so you just have to ask to be added, but I'll add you. Don't worry, I won't do a background check or any of that weird stuff.
You just have to Venmo or $50.
Yeah. Perfect.
It does cost money. There's an application processing fee.
So, if you liked our podcast, please give us a positive review on whatever platform you use, and tell your friends to get us some more listeners. We love to have more people in this awesome review community.
And make sure your podcast feeds are all up to date, and join us again in another 2 weeks for more Let's Rewatch.
All right. Yeah. Next time, we're going to watch Father Guido Sarducci Goes to College.
Oh, I am
that's-
in.
Definitely not racist.
Do you guys know Father Guido Sarducci?
No.
What?
That's
How
like
do
a character
you know?
some comedian did,
Yeah,
right?
he's amazing. It was a Saturday night. I think it started on Saturday Night Live. He's like this Roman Catholic priest, but he's, I don't know, kind of dirty and inappropriate, and it's not what it's sounding like as I described it.